what advice, what insight do you have for those who are going through hard times and are tempted to give up?
Don't, don't. There's always a way out. Don't give up. There's always a way out. There's options. There's options. The minute you feel like you want to give up, keep pushing. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, you can't never give up. As long as you have breath in your body, I don't care what you're going through, what it feels like. I don't care if the odds are stacked against you. If you got breath in your body, I don't care if your bills are stacked up, if you're on the street, reach out for help.
Welcome to the UMGC podcast, Unstoppable Stories, with your host, Nathan James.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you to Ginger Miller for joining us today. Ginger, you are the CEO, founder, and president of Women Veterans Interactive Foundation. Happy to introduce you to everyone, and thank you for being on with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It is really my absolute pleasure. I love what I do. I love UMGC. So it's my honor and my absolute pleasure to be here with you today.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We were talking a little bit even before the recording of how you had an adventure last week. I was telling you, hey, and you have a great looking outfit today with your hat and women's veteran shirt. It looks great. But you said your hat had a special sort of role to play last week.
You know
We
what?
could
It
talk
did.
about that.
One of the things I
Yeah.
do, I love giving back to the veteran community. And one of my roles I have is on the board of governors of the USO. I'm a presidential
Mm.
appointee. And Tyler Perry was in town. He has this whole film coming out with the 6888, and they did care packages at Fort Myer for active duty women. And Tyler Perry was there, Kerry Washington, as well as other actresses. And I had an opportunity to meet Tyler Perry, took an amazing selfie with him, and talked about the film, talked about his support for women veterans. So this pink beret is now even more legendary because I actually have pictures with the president also with this pink beret. And as you see, it goes with my branding for the Women Veterans Interactive Foundation. So, I couldn't take this pink beret off now if I wanted to. It's actually legendary.
How about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, it's one of those things where, you serve your country and you continue to
Mm.
serve, you have this whole branding and then you're
Yeah.
doing great things in your brand, and I think our brand at the Women Veterans Interactive Foundation is also a symbol of hope for women veterans. So I love it.
How about that? How about that? How about that? So let's jump in right there. What led you to start Women Veterans Foundation,
Mhm,
Interactive Foundation,
mhm.
please?
Well, you know what? Like a lot of folks who start nonprofits, for me, it was from a personal hardship. I went into the military specifically to get the GI Bill because my mother died last year, my last living parent were immigrants from Honduras. And I went into the military specifically to get the GI Bill because I wanted to be an accountant on Wall Street. And my husband, I thought that I would never ever get married. Like I wanted to be that rich aunt that never got married, just take care of my family and my nieces and nephews. But I met this dashing Marine at my first duty station in Annapolis, Maryland. Went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina with him. And then he unfortunately suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder and got out of the Marine Corps. And then I tragically got a medical discharge from an accident that happened. And then I got out of the Navy. We went back to stay with my family in Hempstead, New York. Don't come from a military town or a military family. We were very unskilled. We were young, still in our 20s. Our son was like maybe two years old at the time. And we became homeless, right? And I worked 3 jobs and went to school full time to pull me and my family out of that homeless state. So when you talk about what led me to start the Women Veterans Interactive Foundation, it was a series of events that happened in my life, right? And the first nonprofit I started was John 142 Inc. So WVI wasn't even the first nonprofit, but doing work to support homeless veterans like myself and my husband, right? Led me to want to do something for women veterans because I moved from New York to Maryland and had all of these great appointments on the Maryland Commission for Women and all of these other things. So I said, you know what, I want to do something for women veterans on Women's History Month in 2012. And when I saw the amount of women veterans and the responses that I received for this event, I said, you know what? Having just a event or having just a division of John 42 Inc. is not enough. Women veterans need their own nonprofit organization. So when they take off the uniform, they have a place to call home. And that's how, and that's why I started the Women Veterans Interactive Foundation.
Thank you. You know, talk to us about how important it is to advocate and look out for our women veterans.
You know, whew, like you open up all kinds of cans of worms,
Yeah,
small, medium, large, and indifferent.
I
It's,
hear
it's,
you. It's
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 vital.
important.
It's vital,
Man.
right? So we started WVI in 2011, and now we're talking about 2024. The issues that women veterans had then, they continue to have. We've made some progress, but not enough, because as women veterans, we are part of the women's movement. So when you look at how hard it is, let's say for women like your mother and your aunts and the women who have come before us, we're part of that. But I consider women veterans to be just a little bit more special because we raised our right hand to serve and sacrifice for this country. So we should be getting a little more support, a lot more support, because as women veterans, we have left our kids to go and fight for this country. Like I have members of the organization who have gone to Iraq and Afghanistan and left their kids when they were like 6 months old. And then you come back and your kids don't even know who you are. Your children are afraid of you. Like put that into perspective, right? And then you come home and your husband is gone. He done packed his bags and left and went on with somebody else. Put that into perspective. So when you talk about like your mental state, put that into perspective. And then you have some women who get out the military, like myself, who become homeless with children. So we're talking the early 90s, and then we're talking 2024. My mailbox is full during the holiday season with women veterans who are dealing with food insecurities.
Wow.
So let's put that into perspective. And then I still have people that will say to me, unfortunately, like, oh, do you think women veterans need their own programs? Or is this something that, you're just passionate about? All of the above, because unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to reach out for help. And then when you consider all of the things that I've just stated, it's even harder to reach out for help when you're a woman in a male dominated world. So that's why a WVI is so important, because when you see a symbol of hope, when you see somebody that looks like yourself, when you see a women's organization, like, you know what, I'm going to reach out to that organization because they understand me. They have gone through what I've been through. There's no wrong door at WVI. Um, I'm going to reach out for help. And one of the things we tell women when we're advocating, when we're out there, boots on the ground, outreach and engagement, making this impact, you don't have to feel ashamed for what you're going through. And that's one of the reasons why I have stuck it out all these years in this nonprofit veteran community, is because I understand and I get it. The work that we do here is vital. I just had, we had talked about this prior too, but in March of this year, we had an event called the State of Women Veterans, building an ecosystem for women veterans to thrive in the civilian sector. And that ecosystem is so important because it's going to take everybody. Everybody has
Hmm.
something to offer. This podcast is important. It's a part of our ecosystem, right? Because somebody's going
Mm-hmm.
to listen to this and understand how they can help, how they can be a part, right? To support women
That's right.
veterans. And we wanted to talk about, well, we had one portion of it to talk about healthcare and early detection and cancers and how it can save lives, which is great. So we had the VA there. We had the assistant to the president, Terry Tennillian. She's assistant to the president for veterans. We had the deputy secretary from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. It was sponsored by, I don't know if I could mention on this podcast, it was sponsored by people who are in the cancer field. And we stressed mammograms, early detection, save lives. That was in March, Women's History Month. April, I go to my doctor and I say, I'm having this pain in my right breast. I've been having it off and on for maybe like
Hmm.
a year now, after my last mammogram, and it just doesn't feel right. "Oh, Ginger,
Mm,
well, pain in your breast is not a sign of breast cancer." I said, "Okay, Dr. Burdett, it just doesn't feel right to me." Like, and she said, "Okay, I'm going to send you out for the proper test." That was April. May 2nd, Ginger Miller gets diagnosed with early stage breast cancer. Can you imagine? So here I am
mm,
advocating for all, and at
mm,
WVI, we're very proactive,
mm.
very proactive. And I know that the VA, the Department of Veterans Affairs, is a part of our ecosystem. So everything we do, we include them. I believe in the healthcare. I got diagnosed with early stage breast cancer on May 2nd, right? And they was like, "Okay, you get diagnosed with early stage breast cancer." And the first thing I say to the people is like, "Okay, I'm dead. Like, I know I'm going to die. Like, I spent the last 14 years of my better life trying to build this nonprofit, that has basically put me in financial ruin. The nonprofit has not, the vision has not come to pass as what I know it can be, because we're climbing this mountain and we haven't reached the top. I'm done." And then they say, "No, it's early stage. It's stage 0." And then I'm just like, "Whew. Well, where do I go from here?" And so fast forward, because I could dominate a whole blog, like a podcast. I could just go and close the whole show, because I have to get the gap. It's a blessing. But nevertheless, I ended up, because I get all my care from the DCVA Medical Center. Like, I believe
Mm,
in VA healthcare,
mm,
because it's all I have,
mm,
right? And so my thing was this: okay, I have early stage breast cancer. Long story short, I had a double mastectomy on July 29th. And, I'm fine. I have to take a pill for 5 years to make sure the cancer doesn't come back. So for me, it was one of those things where, okay, so Miss Veterans Advocate, Miss advocating for early detection, what are you going to do when the rubber meets the road? But what I could tell you, what I did was, when I got my diagnosis, I had so many other events planned. And as soon as I got to every microphone, I talked about it. I walked about it. And there were over 100, now 25 women veterans, or women, that came up to me and said, "I'm so glad you shared your story, because I haven't had a mammogram and I'm scared." And I said, "You should be mortified, because you should not be afraid of a test. The test is going to get you to your results, and the results can save your life."
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. And Ginger, thank you for sharing that. And my heart, I know our team's heart goes out, to you, on that journey. And um it's already clear that you're inspiring folks on that recovery journey, and also making sure that they can avoid and take early precautionary steps as well. Um Ginger, thank you so much for that.
We have a range of programs that are specifically for women veterans, and it meets all the needs that they have. So we have Operation Safety Net, which is our homeless women veteran prevention program, which could pay first month rent, security deposit, stop evictions, utility shut off, deal with food insecurities, like anything that is like medication, car payments, like if you got to get to work, things of that nature. Right. So that's something
Yeah.
that is near and dear to my heart. It was the first program we had. Then we also have our signature program, which is an annual conference, gala, and boat cruise. That's the Veterans Day weekend. Women veterans come from around the country for that event. And that event is really important, because that's our empowerment event. And we partner with the VA, Department of Labor, a whole bunch of different folks. But more important, we have a claims clinic with that event, and that's open to the public. And last year we hit a milestone with 1,000 veterans served. That's a big deal. So we're helping veterans in so many different ways with that conference. We have a pink and white women veterans tour, where we go around the country and have a bunch of women veterans and talk about a lot of different topics that are near and dear to their heart, talk about employment, things of that nature. That pink and white tour has turned into an addition to a pink and white summit held in Atlanta, Georgia, that both almost and sometimes over 200 women veterans, that's
Oh
sponsored by
my.
FireServe. So FireServe saw what we were
That's
doing and said, "Look, we love that. Can you bring that to Atlanta and make it into a summit?"
Yeah,
So
that's
you see,
powerful. And that's is that annual, that
it's
summit?
annual. It's annual.
Okay.
So it's coming
Mm,
up in 2025 on March 29th. So everything that we've done has kind of grown organically. And then we also have our workforce development programs. We have Beyond the Transition, which is a cohort program that takes women veterans who are transitioning out the military through a series of virtual and in-person events to
Yeah.
help them get ready for the transition, right? And it exposes
Yeah.
them to different sectors, corporate, nonprofit, um, federal government. You get to talk to different employers. It just exposes them to the things that they could be facing when they get ready to transition out, but it also lets them explore who they are, learn what you like and what you don't like so that you don't have to scramble when you take off the uniform because that's where you run into trouble.
That's huge. Thank you. Thank you for summarizing that. And um, look, I love a keyword that you said there was we listen. We listen
We do.
to veterans
Mhm,
as they come through the door.
mhm,
We hear what their needs are, and then you react
mhm,
intelligently and responsively to
mhm,
those. And I think
mhm.
that sets such a powerful example for
It
all
is.
of us, right? Even here as
Mhm,
a university, and for everyone listening
mhm,
here, we want to frontline. We want to platform the
mhm.
needs that women veterans bring. And make sure we're doing all we can to help them in those spaces. So, thank you, Ginger, for leading the
Absolutely.
way in that.
Mhm,
And from there, talk to us about the importance of really utilizing your education in being able to start, okay,
mhm,
your foundation. Obviously, you graduated from UMGC
mhm,
with your master's degree.
mhm.
How did having that degree in your education help you?
Okay, and there's one more thing I'm gonna say because I'll be chopped meat if I don't. We also have membership. We have over 1,500 members and we have 4 chapters. So, I love our members at WVI because when you listen, women veterans wanted to join the organization. So we created a membership because that gives them the peer-to-peer support. And our members give back by serving their community in their local chapters. UMGC is very important to me. UMGC holds a special place in my heart because, I have my um, bachelor's degree in accounting from Hofstra University, right? And I got that at a time in my life when I wanted to go work at Wall Street. That never happened for me. Dream deferred. When I started this nonprofit work, nobody took me seriously, right? And till this day, I'm still one of the few, probably one of the only Black founders, African American founders in the veteran space. One of the only women founders in this space. I didn't know anything about running a nonprofit organization. Like I knew I wanted to do, right? I knew I had a heart of service, right? I knew I wanted to help veterans, but I didn't know anything about doing it. I started out giving like turkeys and socks and the hard stuff. But how do you get up and run a business every day? And then I had the GI Bill, but I had utilized my GI Bill, voc rehab with that accounting degree, that bachelor's degree. And then I went online. I'm just like, okay, this school, they have a master's degree in nonprofit and association management. So I wanted that. And I know I needed that for people to take me a little bit serious. And it looks good, right? A credible university. I had 2 kids at the time, dealing with my own. And I don't always talk about like my PTSD because, I just don't. I always worried about my husband's stuff. So I had 2 kids at the time in school here in Maryland dealing with my husband's PTSD. I could not afford to go like in the classroom. I just didn't have time. Trying to get this nonprofit off the ground. I had to convince the VA to give me more time in voc rehab to get this degree. I had to convince, like I had to knock on doors. I had to go all the way to DC to knock on doors. And I did that. And I just did a speaking engagement with the VA in I think it was Seattle, and they actually met the lady said, "I remember you because you wanted to get that nonprofit degree from UMGC, and I remember you battling for that." So this school means a lot to me because I don't think I would be where I am right now if not for that degree because it's in my bio. It is more than a degree for me. It's like family. it's like family. They call, they check on me. I go to different events. They welcome my husband, the members of my organization. Like we have a great time. So it's like when they say they care for veterans, they do. And I'm a proud alumni, of this university. They have helped me not just, with my education, but it's kind of like they helped me to believe in myself even more.
Obviously, anyone listening can tell how much you value education,
Mhm.
right?
I
How
do.
much you emphasize even the credibility, right, that it
Mhm,
provides in the nonprofit space.
mhm,
And as you mentioned earlier, you had to fight through a lot to get your bachelor's degree, to fight to get to your master's degree.
mhm.
Even dealing with the challenge of homelessness earlier. Talk to us about that. How do you work your way from the challenge of homelessness, your caregiving as well, okay, um, into getting your degree and achieving what you have today?
I just did it. And I know that everybody can't be a Ginger Miller. Nobody wants to be homeless. Like I always had my sights set on the stars, moons, Jupiter, Mars, whatever. Like I've always been a winner in my heart, right? And society does a great job of teaching us how to fall apart, but it doesn't do a good job of teaching us how to keep it together. I'm a keep it together type of person. I'm gonna always keep it together. I'm gonna fight to keep it together. So even the times when I was homeless, I was fighting to keep my family together. I remember going down to social service and looking for help. And they was like, oh, well, we could put you and your son in a shelter, but your husband has to go. I said, well, then this is not the help for me. And I remember getting like, going through all this paperwork. And I think they give you like $135 in food stamps. And I said, there's nothing else. And I'm like, well, this is not like, I'm like, girl, well, you got to get it together. So I worked 3 jobs, went to school. I worked at the school at Hofstra doing a work study program. And then I worked at a gas station at night running a lotto machine and then going to school in between all that. I was hustling legally. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, listen. And the thing is, I was utilizing my VA benefits, but I didn't have the strength or the courage to tell my VA counselor I was homeless because nobody was raising a red flag saying, oh, we have services for homeless veterans because we're talking early 90s. So that's why at WVI, we're big on outreach and engagement. Like we live on social media. At the conference we just had, there was a lady who said that she was homeless and she wanted to come to the conference. I said, well, how do you? She said, oh, we can make it work. She getting her little benefits and stuff. So we gave her a scholarship. It covered all her stuff, including, room and board at the conference. And then we sent her to the claims clinic and she got her claims done and she's going to get all her benefits that she's earned. So you got to outreach and engagement. You got to listen. You got to keep your ear to the ground, right?
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
I don't want any other veteran, woman or man, to get to the point to where they're homeless and they're afraid to. You got to reach out for the help before you get to that point. You see what I'm saying? So even when
Yeah,
I was homeless, like I'm like, nothing is going to stop me. Nothing. And society is not going to tell me to ball up and be like, oh my God, I just, no. Because when you do that, the same society that tells you, oh, it's okay to fall apart, who's going to put me back together? Who's going to put me back together? No, I'm not doing it. And you know what? And you will feel so much better when you fight for your sanity and win. Because you don't have to fall. You do not have to fall to pieces.
I heard a quote that said that true strength is not found in um, who you push down on your way up, right? But true strength is found in lifting others up, right?
Yeah.
And the strength that your journey, that your life has shown, um, it is immense. And if I could wrap things up with this question for you, for everyone listening and watching. Um, what advice, what insight do you have for those who are uh, going through hard times and are tempted to give up?
Don't, don't. There's always a way out. Don't give up. There's always a way out. There's options. There's options. The minute you feel like you want to give up, keep pushing. As long as you have breath in your body, I don't care what you're going through, what it feels like. I don't care if the odds are stacked against you. If you got breath in your body, I mean, I've gone, and I could only use myself for an example. Diagnosed with my mother died last year of early stage breast cancer on August 1st. I had a double mastectomy July 29th of this year at the very hospital right across the street from where she was. So I've gone from having breast cancer this year, double mastectomy, reconstruction will be done in all of 6 months and still going. There's never a reason to give up. I don't care if your bills are stacked up, if you're on the street, reach out for help. Reach out, raise your hand and reach out for help. There are way too many programs, way too many people that care about you. You are not alone. I don't care what it is. If you're hungry, somebody's going to feed you. If you lose your job, you'll get another one. I don't care what it is. That's my advice. Don't ever give up. I'm not going to ever give up. I told him, I did a speaking engagement. I said, look, I done took the hit of homelessness. I done took the hit of cancer. Only other hit I need now is the Mega Million. Now, somebody give me six, give me 6 numbers and go out here and hit this Mega Million. Life is too short not to live,
Mm.
love, and laugh.
Don't give up. You're not alone.
God.
Ginger Miller, everyone. Ginger, thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your time with us today and for taking time. I want to thank our listeners. I want to thank our viewers for tuning in and for listening. Please remember to like and subscribe if you want to hear more unstoppable stories. And we're going to see you next time. Thank you so much.